We are back with the Gamers8 Street Fighter 6 Invitational. This is going to be sick. I know you're watching on both streams. Before we begin with the fisticuffs, we got to run those introductions real quick. My name is St. Cola. I'm joined with Lazarus. My guy, I need to know, with this upcoming match, hit me with your prediction right now. I'm putting you on the spot.
Okay, well, it's going to be Phenom versus Otani, right? For our first match up for the day. I mean, I said I love the Moose. The Moose is going to be loose, I think, in this tournament. So I'm going to give it to Phenom, man. I'm going to give it to Phenom. I haven't seen much of Otani play, but I've watched a lot of Phenom, and I know how good he is, and I know it will be definitely difficult. It's first to two, though, of course, in the pool stages. So you never know, but I think in my predictions for at least this group, it's going to be MenaRD and Phenom making out of it, and if Phenom's going to get out of it, he's going to have to win this game. What about you, Cinco? Tell me what you think, huh?
Damn, I shouldn't have even asked you first, because that was going to be mine. But I don't think it's going to be an easy fight for Phenom, and I don't think it's going to be one of those that, you know, is going to be like, 0-2 with the quickness and things like that, or, you know, if it does happen, it's going to be very close. I feel like Otani's got a lot of practice with a lot of kins in Japan. You got to look to the likes of Daigo, Fujimura, my boy Memento Mori, who used to be a Zeku player, who's also a fantastic kin. There's a lot of practice out there for Ken. And heck, you just go on ranked any day of the week, any time of the day, actually, you're going to find at least 7 kids trying to ruin your day. So, you know, I feel like he's got that Ken play on lock in terms of the matchup, and he'll understand, you know, how to fight that character. And, you know, speaking as a Ken player myself, I do think that Luke can go toe-to-toe with that character. I remember Angry Bird was also talking about how, like, Luke's buttons are so good that Ken can't go button to button with him. The neutral just feels not so friendly. That stand medium punch, the crouching medium kick, drive rush distance also can compete with Ken's. You know, the fireball also being really quick too as well can combat against Ken. You know, some distances and ranges where he wants to fight at. So I do think that this matchup, maybe I wouldn't say is like Luke favorite, but it can be difficult for Ken. We know that Ken puts you in the corner, goes to work.
We know how he wins. We know how he wins. And it doesn't matter who you're playing. If he lands that low forward drive rush into that corner carry, into those throw loops, it doesn't matter who you're playing, right? Obviously, Luke a little bit better off, has an excellent, you know, reversal DP. So something to watch out for as well. But like you said, yeah, I think Luke definitely has a little bit of a handle on this matchup in terms of like just being able to go button for button. And not many characters can, right? Because Luke's are just, I mean, Ken's are just that good. But I think Luke's is also one of the best, and obviously also one of the contenders for one of the best characters in the game. And yeah, I think we'll hopefully get to see more of Luke as well throughout the tournament, and I'm sure we're going to see plenty of Kens as well. There'll be no shortage of that.
Lying, bro. There's not going to be a shortage of kids. You know, there might be some also mirror matches that might occur. Like, you know, we'll talk about this a little bit later, but when MenaRD comes up, will he be fighting? You know, like what characters he'll be using against certain players, things like that. I know some characters have had secondaries. I think for Phenom, he's just running the Ken. You know, Otani may go Ryu. He does have a Ryu that he practiced, you know, before the game had dropped. The things that I've seen from Otani recently have pretty much been Luke. But if need be, he could go Ryu, and I think that Ryu can give some problems to Ken in the projectile gameplay, right? When it comes to putting down the plasma on the screen, he can get me. This dog throws out the Digit Charge, and you can't really keep up as Ken with your projectiles because yours are more of a poke, whereas his are actual zoning. And I think that Stan Fierce also can contest against the ranges where you like to do crouching knee kick as Ken. It doesn't feel always friendly to fight that character. However, of course, Ken, there are matchups where he loses or doesn't do as well or goes 5-5. It doesn't matter because when you get put in the corner, you lose your game plan. You start fussing. You start going to Twitter, subtweeting things like that. Ken players are carried, all that stuff like that. So throw loops, ruining the game and stuff like that. But like, I think that, you know, Otani having the other character will be beneficial. I don't know if Phenom has fought any good Ryus. Possibly.
Yeah, that's a problem. I mean, to be fair, in Europe, obviously, we do have some very strong Ryus. Ending Walker being like the prime example of one, of someone who's playing Ryu at a very high level, trying to take him places. Obviously, this character, generally regarded as somewhere like in the mid tier, you know, obviously is kind of like too well-rounded almost, you know, doesn't really do anything too exceptionally. And compare that to Ken, who has a very similar tool set, but does some things very exceptionally. Yeah, that's what makes him a bit hard to pick one over the other, right? But I mean, Ending Walker, he just likes the character, so I'm looking forward to when we do see Ending Walker. I think we'll see him later on playing today as well. See some of that Ryu, but you know, in Europe we do got some other Ryu players as well. There's a German player called Semi28, obviously not here in this tournament, but he's a very exciting Ryu player to watch. Super aggressive, and I think Ryu can play that way. You know, he's a certain character who can expend all of his resources and still play the game even in burnout, because he's got such a well-rounded toolset, right? That like even without the drive meter, he can defend himself, anti-air DP, great, amazing fireball game as well. And all of these mean that you can overextend way more than other characters and not be left completely defenseless.
Oh, I agree
So hopefully
with that,
we get to see a
Like,
bit of
the
that.
fact- Bro, I hope we get to see that too. I mean, we will be seeing Indy Walker. Actually, yeah, Group G, as you mentioned, going up against Takamura on our stream over here. So make sure you keep it locked. Of course, keep both streams up as it would be. And then, you know, I didn't mention this to round things off for all of our groups. At the very end, we'll be getting Luffy versus Hot Dog, aka my brethren in DJ Downplay. That'll be MenaRD versus DJ.
Yeah, we saw
so
in the,
that will be right
pre
on
show, right? The apparently Hot Dog saying that DJ, you know, has a low ceiling, and I almost actually agree with him. Like, I actually see what he's talking about, because I think a lot of DJ's things are just, they're all kind of fake, and it's just because he has a lot of them that he makes it work, because you can't look out for everything at once. So and obviously his high damage means that if you try and respond to one thing and you guess wrong, he's going to blow you up for it, which is always just going to be a solid strategy no matter what. But I do think, you know, he does lack in some areas, you know, that other characters have just way better at him at doing. Like his fireball game, he's got one, which is good. And heavy air slasher can definitely make a difference. But in general, just frame data wise, it's not something you want to rely on. Same thing with his anti-air game, things like that. But yeah, like I said, I'm just excited to be able to see some of that high level DJ play, which we don't get to see too often.
Yeah, it's so strange that that character is not picked up a lot more, because even though he's not maybe like the top tier character, he's not as like, I mean, he's like not below 5. I'm sorry, I gotta give you all the real deal. He's not below 5, but we are going to get into this action right now. Again, Phenom versus Otani for the very first match on the B stream. Gamers8, yo, again, shout out to them for making it hot. Let's get it, people. Phenom Otani, let's go.
All right, these two players are gonna have to set the pace for the rest of the day. So let's see, I'm excited to find out how this first game of the Gamers8 32-man Invitational is going to go here on the B stream. It is going to be the Ken versus the Luke, the Law matchup. Let's go. And also,
oh yeah, Ken was the one that gave him that scar.
Yes.
Bro, what was that combo? He got the counter hit and ran it with the chaser. I've never seen someone run it with the chaser, but I feel like as a Luke player, you're looking to get that Oki and that corner push without spinning bar. You can definitely do so.
Yep, and we already saw like how good Angry Bird is at using Ken's stand jab, and we already saw Phenom adopting that right there as well. Just drive rush, stand jab, gonna interrupt almost anyone trying to check you, and oh nice, low forward with punish on that stand Fierce from Otani, and now being pushed into the corner. We talked about this situation, St. Cola. This is where most rounds come to their ends, but there it is, the rising rocket to get out.
Idiot. Yeah, that's wild from Otani, but here's the whip punish. Stand media kick got clipped, and that should be it. Yeah, spin that bar. Level 1 to get it done. Hella optimal by the side of Phenom. And that's smart, because you only spin at level 1 to get that finish.
Yes.
Have another bar, and maybe 2 if necessary as these rounds go on. If it even goes to level 3, or round 3, I should say.
Yeah, obviously that super meter being so important, you know, being optimal and knowing exactly when that level 1 will kill could be huge in this round. It means you're going to get that level 3 in this round, and we know how powerful level 3s are. We know how good Ken's is especially. And yeah, so saving that 1 bar, but now in the corner, not going to be able to use any of this meteor offensively. But a very fortunate jump out there from Phenom, gets him out, gives him so much screen positioning to work with. Obviously, he doesn't have the life lead, but it can all end off of that 1 low forward.
Dang, another whip punish. What? This time got the punish counter off the standing heavy kick. He's up in the corner, and check that bar at the bottom. Level 2, maybe even level 3 if need be. Otani's got to find a way to stay fine. Does clip the crouching mini kick. Okay, yeah. But the drop. Oh, no, Otani. Otani, you got to do something different, my dog. You have all this bar at the bottom.
That was a big chance right there for Otani. Obviously didn't have enough to kill, but the tick throw up the driver setup. I love that from Phenom. Just spending it all right when your opponent is 1 mix-up away from dying. It doesn't matter if you burn out, if you manage to take the round, and even the game in that case. All right, Phenom taking the first game. This is going to be a first of 2.
That's right. Let's see what it do. Drive, reverse, to back him up a bit. We'll see if that gets weighted and baited later on here from Phenom. Miz -8, so it's hella punishable. But I feel like Otani, you know, you got to access the great things about this character. Perfect parry with the punish, the fireball right after. That was super sick. Otani now looking at what Phenom's doing for like the zoning and checking that and challenging it.
Yeah, I think we're starting to see that way more now in 2 months into the game's lifespan. A lot of people doing these perfect parries on projectiles into immediate button to punish. And you know what? Luke's got some of the best forward advancing normals. Going to find way more opportunities to punish those kind of situations. Nice. I love the drive rush forward for the Oki. Going to punish that perfect parry attempt from Phenom. And now got the corner control. Phenom nearly in burnout as well. Otani got a lot of a great position.
Yes, oh, you thought? Stay sucker free. Impact right back. And that should be a wrap. Look at that run cancel, Gen ride kick, and again, another level to layer things out. Phenom, the one on set point, again, he's deleting a lot of the tools that Otani's been utilizing, but again, Otani not finding access to what makes Luke so strong. Them charge knuckle combos, bro.
Yes. Oh, and there's another low forward and a good confirm from Phenom. Never mind, does drop hit. But yeah, I mean, Phenom reacting to that drive rush in the end of the last round, by the way. At Evo, top 6, no one reacted to a single drive rush in the corner. I mean, drive impact. And this time, Phenom on the first game, the first drive impact, and he reacts in a position now to take the first set over Otani in the Gamers8 group stage.
Brother, look at that. Gen ride kick, DP. Nicely meeting with the crouching jab. Gen ride kick, he missed, but will still get the throw. Phenom taking the very first match on the B side of things. That I'm A+. Actually, I'm S+.
Damn, I mean, look, if there was any, if there was any in-game ranking, I would have given that an S+, you know? I would have given that an S. But he did, actually, no. I'd give him an S. He did drop 2 combos, so.
That's true. Okay,
not the S+ for me, even though I love the moves. Sorry, I can't be that biased, I'm afraid.
I mean, that's the same guy that has given us some very wild takes on Twitter about food. But, you know, when it comes to his gameplay, he is extra great, extra special, and super ridiculous when it comes to that corner pressure. I like how he adjusts himself after, like, the stand fierce. Like, stand fierce and then crouching midi kick to check the toes. You know, some people might go for, like, a dash-up throw right after. But, and again, you know, we got to go back to how he's deleting the tools that Otani was presenting. Perfect parry, and then goes right after with the drive rush. You have to have perfect parry to get the drive rush right after. But it's sniffing that moment out, you know, which is kind of hard because those fireballs are kind of fast from Luke.
Yeah, for sure. But you know what? If you play the game as much as he has, and even if you play a little bit of Luke, you're going to get used to that timing. Not much variable there. It's a bit, for me, it's almost a bit easier to perfect parry than a normal projectile, just because some projectiles, especially the really slow ones, you know, it's hard to get that like 2-frame window to perfect parry when it's coming at you that slow, you know. But whereas, like, you know, obviously a sandblaster almost immediate, you just have to perfect parry at the time that he throws that sandblaster, and you'll get that timing every time. But yeah, I mean, very impressive stuff from Phenom for the first game of the day. I can't lie, 2 over Otani. We both predicted that would happen, and it didn't look like it was going to go either way at any point there in that set. Very dominating from Phenom. And just, yeah, impressive Ken play. Like, nothing, didn't really do anything out of the box, you know, just kept it nice, playing the footsies, playing in that low forward range, finding that one hit confirm, and we'll get to see at least one of the highlights coming in from that last match.
Ooh, yeah, let's take a look at that. Yeah, man, I want to go back to how you were talking about how, you know, his Ken was, you know, pretty, not in a bad way, basic, right? But, like, didn't really need too much. But that's honestly the way that Phenom plays. Tight, you know, just really exceptional with the footsies, but doesn't need anything like super saucy, right? He just keeps it really nice, really tight, the jabs, things like that. We saw, you know, him working around that character's tools with the perfect parry, as we pointed out previously. But, you know, we don't see anything like super special, and that's okay. You know, it's okay to be dry. We saw it with Nikali. His Nikali, dry but effective. But that's A-okay.
Exactly.
I think as long as you get the victory, bro, you shouldn't have to be worried about, like, entertaining people in the stands. There's $1 million in terms of prize pool. Just be effective.
I respect dry play as much as it might be annoying to fly against or you know, even do, but like that's the problem. It is difficult to play like that because especially when you're playing such an offensive character, or you know, you can be very offensive with Ken. It's hard not to just want to end a game, but also understand when you're in a winning position and understanding that I will continue to winning if I do nothing. So that's just a certain mindset that I think you kind of need to have as a top player. You got to know when to dial it back. And even if it is a little dry sometimes, you know, I remember like you're saying on that Nikali, basically just doing stand roundhouse until he's fishing for a counter hit, nothing too crazy, but it worked, you know, it works because your opponent gets impatient. you know, they want to approach, they want to come in, and they're stumping right into that boot, the low forward, whatever. And yeah, very impressive stuff. Obviously, we didn't get to see a highlight, but my highlight would have still that DI reaction. One single DI that set, he's 1 for 1. He reacted to those, man. You try to get him in the corner, and it was smart, I think, because I think the drive gauge from the side of Phenom was low enough that even on block, I think it would have took off the drive gauge, and then he would have been stunned. So it was actually pretty smart to DI there if you're Otani. But obviously, if you're not in burnout, you can always just DI back, and that's just kind of one thing he's banking on, right? Like, is Phenom awake? You know what? You know, I think it's got to be about 4 p.m. over there in Riyadh. He's like, maybe he's not awake.
Jet lagged.
Jet lag from Evo. Maybe I can catch him sleeping, but no, not today, I'm afraid.
No, the only hands like NyQuil came from Phenom. He's got another match coming up. That's going to be against MenaRD. I'm not sure who took the victory against MenaRD versus Latif. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it probably was MenaRD. That's no offense to Latif. It's just the fact that they were talking about this on the broadcast. They're like, if MenaRD introduces that chaos with like Blanka, it's going to be hard for Latif to stop that. I think Latif can fight, and I agree with him, can fight in like a footsie-based battle, but you introduce that chaos in a game that maybe he hasn't as focused in recently. You know, he just came to the side of Street Fighter, or back to Street Fighter, I should say, because he is an Evo qualifier out there. We've seen him work really well. You know, we've seen him work in Street Fighter, right? He's done really well. However, I do think that, you know, when it comes to like this game, he's taking a break, got to get warmed up and stuff like that. You have to fight a 2-time cup champion. That's going to be a little bit difficult. So I'm gonna assume it was MenaRD 2-0. Thank you, Chad.
I read it in chat. There you go. Thank you, guys.
All right.
You're gonna have to keep us updated, by the way, because as much as we'd like to watch the other stream, you know, it's gonna be mostly gonna be having to pay attention to our stream, of course, holding it down here on the B stream. Thank you guys for tuning in, of course, and we'll still be bringing. I mean, look, you know, it's not much different from the A stream, man. We still got all the top players coming in here. We're still gonna be commentating with some S tier commentary. You know what it's like. But yes, I mean, obviously that's gonna be a super hype matchup between Phenom and MenaRD, my two favorites to get out of the group. But obviously, you know, depending on how you come out of the group, first or second, that is, you know, you are, despite the fact that you still make playoffs, that's still something to play for. There is the seeding, right? So potentially, if you end up first in your group, you could potentially end up with an easier matchup going into that top 16. And of course, if you win that winner-side game in the top 16, you're in top 8, and suddenly it's looking so much better for you. You're in for more money, things like that. So even though you might think you're a shoo-in to make it out of your group stage, you want to get that number 1 finish. But at the same time, you know, there's no guarantee you're going to get an easier matchup, man. We see the caliber of the 32 players we have there at this Invitational. And I don't think you're never going to look at one in that top 16 and be like, oh yeah, that will be an easy matchup.
No, I don't think so. I mean, we even look back at what was going on with Otani. Like, if he had those perfect nickel combos in the first game, we may have been seeing like a 2-1. We may have been seeing Otani come back for the break. And maybe it takes a little bit of time for these players to warm up a little bit when they're on that big stage. You know, Otani, you know, maybe not as comfortable as someone like Phenom. But you give them like, okay, now I get it. I've had one game. It's time to get into focus. It's time to, you know, straighten up a little bit, you know, tighten up a little bit and get going. It may take MenaRD, you know, surprise. We might see that happen. So we'll have to see as things go along. But again, thank you everybody for joining us on the B side of streams. We'll be having Phenom versus MenaRD, a classic of Street Fighter coming up here. I don't think they played at Evo, but they are people that definitely play each other, I'm sure, in terms of practice. That may be I'm not sure. We might be seeing the Ken versus Luke, or might be seeing the Ken versus Blanka. I think MenaRD is comfortable in both picks.
Yeah, I think you probably go the Luke to start. I mean, I know if we've all watched, which you should, by the way, the Reversal, big shouts to those guys over on the YouTube channel. They did an excellent documentary on 3 players, one of them including MenaRD. And he does say in those interviews, man, he likes to ice you out. He likes to throw you off your game. And if it means that he's just swapping back and forth between characters like we saw him do in that Evo Grand Finals against Angry Bird, you know, it wasn't because he thought one matchup was better than the other. He's literally just trying to mix you up. He's like just trying to throw you off your game. He's like, okay, you ready for the Luke? Okay, I'll bring in the Blanka. You ready for the Blanka? I'll bring in the Luke. Like that's about as far as it goes. And he's just trying to mix it up, get you in your head, you know. So I think you also start with the Luke and then you bring it up with the Blanka. I'm pretty sure statistic-wise, MenaRD's win rate on Blanka is exceptionally higher than the Luke. I think last time I checked, this was before Evo. He was 17 for 3 in top 8 sets on the Blanka. And only 10-6 on the Luke. So had a much better win rate there on the Blanka. So I think that is his stronger character by far. The Luke's just there to mix things up, throw things into the mix, and for some matchups, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, stability, it's wild because it's like there's two separate types of characters. One for like stability, one for neutral, one for like, this character's got all the tools to win, but you have to be a good player to win with him, right? And that's Luke. Then you got the wild, not mild, that is Blanka.
Is it?
The green booger man up on the screen. Yes, that is the chaotic neutral character. And there's no neutral that comes with that character, actually, I should say. But honestly, though, I like him having two types of characters. I mean, like, you look at how he wants to play. You talk about the reversal, documentary. He talked about how he wants to just, like, get in people's heads, make them feel uncomfortable. Blanka could definitely do that. And his neutral compared to 5, like his buttons, his anti-airs, especially the damage that comes from that, are so much better. Yeah,
he's a good character, and I think, you know what, I was a bit sad when I saw that Blanka trailer so many months ago now, as while we were still waiting for all those character trailers to come out. But I think he's actually cool. I've come round, man. I think this character's kind of interesting. He's got a cool moveset, and you know what? He looks goofy, but in a funny way. Before it's Street Fighter 5, he just looked goofy. I didn't like him at all. But now he's cool. He's interesting, man. And it's not just because I started to play him or anything like that. But I think he does have some interesting. I'm sorry, St. Color. Look.
This is how I found out. This is how I found out.
To learn how to beat them, you have to become them, man. You can't beat Blankas without playing that character. Otherwise, you're not going to have any idea what's going on 90% of the time.
Man, if that's the case, I'll just be beat by Blankas, and I refuse. But you know what? Man. I'll give him credit. He is a lot better of a character in terms of being more well-rounded and more interesting to watch. And he's got
interesting. I think the mix-up.
Yeah, I think the mix-up, with his Blanka doll too as well, that we've seen with MenaRD after he gets, the lift off after the stance cancel cower crouch. When he sets that up, that stuff is really cool up in the neutral too as well, or in the corner, I should say. I won't personally play Blanka, but I'm not as annoyed by that character's existence because, as you put it too, when the character dropped, I was like, really? But then they made him cool and they made him fun to watch. And despite my innate hate of Blanka, as many people have, you can't deny that even the way that MenaRD plays that character, where he does have that buttonsy, wallsy style coming through with stand fierce, crouch fierce, and stuff like that, and just pushes you in the corner and then puts the mix up on you. You can't deny that isn't fun to watch.
I know, and like I said, I think it really fits MenaRD's playstyle, just that chaoticness and the way to throw you off your game, right? I mean, up back EX Blanka ball is a real thing, and you have to respect it. And we saw there are answers to it, but at the same time, it's one of those things that every time your opponent does it, in your head you go, "Really? You do that there? Why would you do that? I could have killed you." Blah blah. You go into like a million different things, like I could have killed him. Why would he ever do that? But that's just how MenaRD plays, man. That's just how Blanka plays sometimes. And you have to be ready for that character, especially when, two-time Capcom Cup champion and one of the best players just in the world right now in Street Fighter 6 is playing him. You got to know it. You're going to have to learn it.
One of the things that, his team was talking about why he's so strong and why people point out that he's so strong is that he figures out the game itself. He plays around the game. So, like, some of them, you don't see him picking up, like, Luke and Blanka for, like, matchups. It's because his playstyle suits that, right? His playstyle and the way that he wants to go about things, it suits that. And I like him playing around those aspects. Like, I think that's a really good way, really smart approach to fighting games. I think the DR in general has that mindset too. But we're going to actually be going over to Mr. Crimson in West right now. We're going to switch things up and go to Group B, Match 2, Mr. Crimson versus West. Let's see what it do. It's going to be Sim versus Jury.
Yeah, obviously we talked a lot about MenaRD, but I mean, we also got to talk about someone who actually didn't make it to Evo, right? Mr. Crimson here, definitely got to be one of the favorites coming in, has been terrorizing it up in EU on this, I almost called it on the Mr. Crimson, because that's just how much Dawson embodies him, But,
right?
This guy has been killing it, and obviously, again, didn't make it to Evo, so I'm sure he's here to try and prove himself for sure.
What's wild is that we talked about this on Twitter, right? Like how he's been acclimated to this character and figure out how to be aggressive, but oh no, the throw bait. Wait, hold on. Wes is working on the corner. We out of there with the drive rush side switch, of course, the teleport, air to air right there. Fantastic choice. Use that jump medium with the dive kick, with that extension. And are you kidding me, Wes? Put him in the corner with the DI and the super apply.
With the stock? Not quite. It's not enough, but you're still in
Brother!
I mean, oh man, just punishing the wake up parry from Mr. Crimson. I mean, this is something he was extremely good at in Street Fighter 5 and is extremely good at in Street Fighter 6 too. He is excellent at doing active defense, and in Street Fighter 6 it's more important than ever. Like right there, being active after blocking those jab strings. But you know, in Street Fighter 5 he was amazing at this. In Street Fighter 6 he still is. But when you're being active, you know, you can still be guessed, you know, for game, right? If you guess wrong and your active defense fails you, then you're gonna get punished, and that's when you're gonna get these blowout rounds, like Wes just had.
Yeah, the damage output too as well for this character. You know, I remember Zephyr talking about this on his stream. He was like, bro, a lot of situations just reset into neutral or minus for the likes of Sim. You have to figure out ways of you know, being able to keep that pressure going and flowing. The pressure is going and flowing from this character. Perfect parry. Going for a back though. Yes, sir. Scale damage, so you just want to get that positional advantage, and calls out the dive kick with that jump fears. Oh, you're in burnout. This is the Baron of burnout right here. And drive rushes and gets that punish counter 1-1.
Wow. Okay. And that was a bit more of Mr. Crimson around. Managed to keep him out, keep that drive gauge down from West. You know, checking the approaches from Jury. Obviously, as Dalton, you're gonna have a little bit easier time to do that when you got full screen normals. Jury can't exactly DR straight through them. You can try, man. You can try, but it isn't gonna work. You have to find another way around these normals, and even finding good jumps, because Mr. Crimson's got that perfect parry timing down. It makes it so hard to jump in on him. You have to do some empty jumps, and that's exactly when he punishes you, just like this with the level 3. Coming in, it's going to put you in such a good position. When you're playing zoners in this game and you get to spend your level 3 early like that, it feels so powerful. Oh no! Where are you going, Jury? Oh my goodness!
Go, Mr. Crimson with the punish, bro. How do you have the awareness to catch somebody like that? That was sick. Listen, people are going to make mistakes in fighting games, right? It happens, especially when you're playing at that fast sort of pace that Wes is playing at too as well. You're going to have mistakes that happen. But for this cat to be ready and steady to be like, I'm going to clip you up if you slip up. All right, it's just that simple, my guy. Mr. Crimson, he took some time off. He didn't go to Evo. He said, I'm gonna focus on this tournament. Maybe that's what he was doing. I'm not sure, but look at this. He is like, I'm out here at Gamers8. I'm gonna get that W.
Yeah, and I think, you know, you gotta think the people who did go to Evo, they're going to be maybe a slight disadvantage, you know, fatigue-wise for sure. You're traveling all the way from Las Vegas all the way to Riyadh, right? It's a long journey, or you know, as much as you like to think that you're going to be playing at your best, it's just, you know, it's difficult. It's a hard game to play.
Ooh, hold up now, Wes. As soon as we get back in the game, he's at Mr. Crimson. We've seen this before, right? Like Mr. Crimson might lose that first round. Oh, but knocks him down with a dive kick. Caught that jump fierce, getting a little bit too predictive, and Wes is riding that momentum. He's got him caught up in the corner. We'll go for another drive impact. There's a yoga upper. Take him down to the ground with the uppercut. Crimson trying to work his way out of the corner.
Yep. Nice jab check again on this dash. Jury's has got one of the slower dashes, but it goes the furthest. Definitely checkable though. And now coming, missed dive kick that could have actually worked on the whiffed limb from Mr. Crimson. We're able to catch out the level 2. Smart. Obviously puts you in burnout. You get no access to any of your drive moves, and now Mr. Crimson. Dalsim just eats so good in this situation. That's Dan Strong, and I'll give you another. There we go.
Yeah.
Final round set point for Mr. Crimson right here.
Hands it off for that finish. Yeah, drive impact after the drive rush to call it out. There's a splat back heavy punch. No cancel. Maybe trying to bait something out from West. You know, sometimes do the cancel and then fake out. No teleport and catch him waiting.
Yep.
There's the throw.
Also, like, if you teleport there, you're putting yourself closer to the corner as well. Oh, the one shimmy. No level 2 there from Mr. Crimson. Didn't have the drive gauge for the EX probably, and now only needs to find one more hit. Still has level 2 for a reversal if he needs it as well.
How do you do this?
And, oh my, he's getting bullied, man. Wow.
On the playground, bullied and put down. Mr. Crimson put him in burnout continuously, and this is one of the things that I like to see from this character. At the beginning of any Street Fighter, Sim is always perceived as weak or mid-tier, right? People start to figure him out and how he operates in the system mechanics because he's so outside the system mechanics. He plays his own game. And now we see the aggression from Mr. Crimson start to coalesce into this. I put you in burnout, and it's 2 hits to do it. Just walk into those mediums. We're gonna catch some highlights right here of how he got bullied on the playground. Bro, Lazarus,
Oh,
talk to me.
yeah,
Look at this. Talk to me.
That was amazing, by the way. The perfect parry on the projectile. So he would be immediately recovered and he immediately challenges with the jab. Super smart stuff right there. Obviously, the level 1 here from West doesn't enough to kill, but obviously you're still in a terrible situation. Nice fake meaty, gonna punish that perfect parry attempt. And again, nice. The DI, it does work on some of Dhalsim's normals. That stand medium kick is definitely one that's DIable. But other ones, not so much. You got to watch out for that. And now here comes the bullying. You want to follow in behind that projectile. That's a great DP though. But there we go again. With the normal, has enough time to perfect parry anti-air. And that's where you got to implement those empty jumps. But again, in a first to 2, it's so hard to get that in. And yeah, there we go. That was Mr. Crimson closing out that round.
Jeez, look at this. The anti-airs are on the deck. The super connects. He gets that huge lead. Brings his bar back. He's so, you know, cognitive of like what his bar is, the other person's bar. I know that's a grazing assessment, but you have to be when it comes to drive gauge. Look at that. Look at this screen position. And this is the air that we saw with the punish. He was ready. So I'm sure he has seen this playing like Vega Patch and like, you know, the other jury players. He's like, oh, I've been here before.
Yeah. I mean, it's awesome, you know what? Your extended limbs getting clicked by dive kick like that, and especially juries that tried to go into like this weird cinematic. I mean, funny enough, it works, and like you said, he's probably seen that before. Nice. Again, I like that empty flow, by the way, to punish the perfect parry attempt. Level 2 here again, smart, gets the burnout. And as usual, burnout versus Dhalsim, it's kind of like JP, right? You're gonna have to take so much chip, and it's so hard to approach without drive rush. Yeah, good luck, basically. This is how wins easy.
And look at that. You were pointing out how you can drive impact some of these limbs. He's flights ahead as he read that sequence right there, got the drive rush into the impact to call that out. And then just punish counter, deleting all that drive gauge. And then you see the finesse and blast. And then there you go. One hit. You see Wes just walk right into it. He's like, bro, it's a done deal. He's like, you got it from here, bro. I'll see you the next game. I'll see you the next one. All right.
Yeah, that was very clean from Mr. Crimson. And since we got a bunch of new people in here, may as well go quickly over the format again. But it is groups, obviously, of groups of 4 players, 8 groups. And it is double round robin. So it is first to 2, but everyone will get a chance to play each other twice. And then, obviously, the first 2 take it out to the playoffs, which we'll see on the Saturday and Sunday. But yeah, so don't worry. Even if it's first to 2, there's still going to be so many games. You'll get an opportunity to even play the other guy again. You know, get your run back if you want to. You know, against Mr. Crimson on Dhalsim, I wouldn't want that run back, but that's just me.
No. The way he is looking, even though West tried to like rush him down and make him feel comfortable, like Mr. Crimson's defense, the active defense you were talking about, them crouching jabs, even the stand jab, which is a lot faster, and then when to use the crouching jab, which is a little bit slower, but if you space it out, you're gonna get a way better reward than you would on the standing jab. Those sequences and those moments like that really led to his victory. And you even see like things like perfect parry to back throw. All that leads up to him staying stable. We'll see what happens with him later on. We'll see what happens with our matches. I know that we were kind of talking about what was happening in Group A. Looks like we're going to be bouncing around, seeing what happens. You know, maybe we're just getting random matches. I'm hoping that we do get to see some of these matches and not maybe miss as much. But we'll have to see what goes down. I personally want to see, bro, MenaRD versus Phenom at some point, or see what goes on with that.
We'll see
that's
that.
Gotta be fire. But I'm assuming that maybe they're jumping around so they can get all these matches done.
Yeah, I think it's every
we have a long day.
We're going to every group once and then we come back. So that was Group B. We just did Group A as well. That was a Phenom versus Otani set. The next game should be Kudo versus Mono. That'll be fun. And then the Group D match will be Angry Bird versus MOV. And then we'll basically loop around like that, which I mean, there's so many good sets. Like I said, the Phenom MenaRD one. I mean, we talked a little bit about the groups, St. Cola, but I want to tell you, do you have like a favorite group? Just
don't do that.
The games are going to come out, like, who's going to have the best games, or who's got your favorite players in there? Yeah, tell me, come on, man. You gotta pick one. There's 8 groups.
Just one.
12% chance.
It's gotta be just one.
Just a single group. Who's your favorite 4 players in that group? You want me to go first? Okay. What are you thinking?
Yeah, you go first. This time you go first, so I can get at you. If
you
got
time to look at the groups. Okay, so me, it's got to be Group E. It's got to be Problem X, Jabim, Big Bird, and Knuckle Do. And all of these players I absolutely adore watching. I mean, Problem X, of course, Lily, Dark Horse character out of nowhere, potentially Blanka, potentially Honda, right? And obviously from the UK as well. Can't not enjoy a bit of Problem X myself. Extremely, let's say, medaled player, has won a lot of things in his time. I think he's also one of the players who has the most Capcom points basically of all time. So he's just been around that long, man. And then Jabim, obviously coming from that South Africa, we saw him in that Red Bull Kumite, that first to 5 versus Takedo, probably won him over in many people's hearts. And it's the first to 5 versus Takedo, man. He wins not in like a way you'd think like, oh, how does one beat Takedo? He just played better than him, man. He just played so good in that set, and you can't discredit any of that play. And literally, like I said before, he's got him in his name. I mean, he's him literally. So on the Chun-Li as well, a very exciting character to watch, I think personally. But yeah, we'll see. And then obviously Big Bird, another person who was at Evo, probably didn't do quite as well as he'd hoped. Definitely lost some sets that, you know, not that they necessarily lost to like worst players or anything like that, but not against anyone who you'd think was a contender to take the tournament, right? So got knocked out fairly early. And now has another opportunity to prove himself again. Obviously, also the Red Bull Kumite winner. So a lot on the line here as well in terms of that. And then NuckleDo, the last person in that group. I mean, I'm a Gal player, or at least I play a little bit of Gal, and I just love watching NuckleDo. So anyway, we got that next game, and it's going to be that Kudo versus Mono set I was talking about, St. Kudo.
Oh, thank God I don't have to tell you who I think is going to get the pick. Let's get back in the action right here. Yeah, we'll see if we remember here. As Kudo is piecing up Mono in the corner. Oh, no, big drop, though. Commentator's curse is the worst. Strike, though, goes for the backup, stand fierce, but no bite here from Kudo.
Yep. I think it's tough in this corner as well. Obviously, DJ, again, I talked about how his lacking anti-airs kind of hurt him a little bit. And in these kind of matchups, it really does. Oh, no. Misjudges the range there. Gets back thrown into the corner in. Burnout as well. Mono probably going to take full advantage of this. That TC is saved. Oh, big dropper, though.
That's unfortunate. Is it Bruno finds the anti-air right there. The jackknife is on point, and Mono catches him trying to leave. I think maybe Kudo committed to that reversal super, looking for the third hit. That is hella minus, so that would have made sense. But Mono with these fake ups, we talked about this fake stuff, it all adds up because the mental stack, just like that, you see the just cool fake out getting the throw.
Oh, and right there, right? Did the fake fireball, but then the spin knuckle came in, couldn't do anything to punish because everything would be too slow anyway. And that's the problem with that fake fireball. Oh, the jackknife maximum kicks. I mean, I said he's got kind of lacking anti-airs, but that jackknife maximum kick is incredibly good. You just need that down charge. Of course, what a bait. Mono reading Kudo like a book to take the first game, man. Holy moly.
Yeah, you know, shout out to Kudo all the way from Evo. He just came out there too, as well as Mono. You know, real quick, they were talking about like the Japanese scene and how they don't really have like, you know, offline Paradise FGC. Y'all need to look that up if you're out there in Japan. That's where Kudo's from and where he practices quite a bit. He also spent some time in the US, but Mono. Oh no, hold up now. My man, he said, wait. What'd you say about my scene? I gotta put on for my city real quick. Yeah, nice anti. You see he walked back for the minute spacing to get that back brain. It's the back medium punch. Keep Mono caught up in the corner. And the dive kick to call the DI. One more hit.
Oh, a couple drops now from Kudo, and they definitely have not helped him at all in that last game especially, and now in this game too. I was hoping he'd warmed himself up properly, but still not the case. Oh, the double! Oh my God.
Nah.
Oh my God.
Here's the thing, Lazarus. Here's the thing, Lazarus. He just came from the US. NY got him feeling unusual. He got the Timbs on, and he's stepping.
He's dancing, man. Oh my goodness. Okay, nice full splat combo right here. Gonna keep that corner control. Doesn't want to let DJ jump out, but oh my, meaty crouch strong. Doesn't get the full conversion though.
Fortunate, not caught up in the corner. You know, these jump-ins or mix-ups in another drop. I feel like this is one of the biggest reasons why he is Mono's getting so much damage. Are these drops off these power arrows? That finds conversions, try to take back his turn, but it wasn't the right button.
Okay, Kami level 3 is stocked. It's very powerful. Oh, where are you going, DJ? Oh my God, the wake up jab doesn't finish the jab. Confirmed, still on the edge of burnout. Chips definitely still a factor, but I think Mono doesn't want to spend all the meat on the low.
There we go, off the low. Yeah, in the level 3, as you pointed out, to seal the deal, the Killer Bee gets this thing, and then a win in the end. Kudo. Yo, I ain't gonna hold y'all. Kudo kind of acted different with that double shimmy, bro. I don't know if that was even necessary. Things are getting scary right now. Kudo's trying to tie things up. Kudo's tying things up. And honestly, you know, you'd look at this and you'd be like, Mono, top 8 at Evo Japan, won CEO, fought Punk in that grand finals, and took the victory. Yep. This dude is ridiculous in and of himself. But if Kudo takes him down, I mean, this is gonna start the party. of that momentum, right? Like in terms of like the blow-ups.
And Kudo could definitely do it. I mean, we've seen he managed to take a game while still dropping half his combos, it feels like. And now he's going to go for the fake safe jump, trying to catch that perfect parry, and then immediate wake up from Kudo with the EXDP. I love it, because get that side swap. It's going to be put back into that corner, though. And now has to fight his way back out. Just jumping, man. I mean, look, a Kami with a dive kick, and you got bad anti-airs if you don't have down charge, my friend.
That's true. Looking for like back heavy kick sweep, but those are difficult to space out. Now he's lost a lot of space with this place. He's up in the corner. And you see Kudo walking back, trying to get like a slight punish, you know, either with jab or medium punch. Like if Mono tries to leave, he tries to catch him lacking, but he's slacking. No tech on that throw. Tech's that throw though. One more hit either side into super.
Yeah. Trying to bait something with that fake fireball. Going to burn himself out just to try and get a sliver of offense going. But now, perfect fireball trap right there. I mean, if he blocked that fireball, it probably might have been chip. It would have been very close either way. So yeah, perfect stuff from Mono. Now onto set point. All 3 bars stocked up as well, nearly.
Time to work. On the party up in this corner again. Mono not able to leave. And you see him backdash. He gets that throw too as well. The impact on splat, no reactions. Maybe Mono's over 35, I'm not sure. There's a throw again, another throw. There's the back dash though. He's tacking, he's like, no, stop that from connecting.
Oh, caught him reaching. That's big damage. Gonna spend a little bit of extra drive gauge and the level 3 as well, just to try and get some of his own drive gauge back, put himself in a great position to win. But you gotta watch out, Sinclair. You gotta watch out. It's Kami level 3 on deck, man. Don't be doing anything.
It's Scammy Cammy, bro. Don't pick up the phone. Doubles down with the throw. And Mono takes it in the same way that Kudo was rushing down the corner. Gets handsy with the man's, with the grip. That'll do it. Mono. Oh, my God. Oh, that was close. There's a timeline where Kudo hits that level 3, and we see Kudo up in some games, bro, with some points.
Yeah. For sure. I mean, still 2-1. Not bad, not bad. Mono showing a little bit of that strength of DJ, you know, obviously also another character with the great throw loop in the corner. And just offensively, right? You make a single mistake, able to punish you with a lot of damage. And yeah, you got to be careful about trying to make mistakes versus this character. And I'm sure we're going to see plenty of mistakes in these highlights, but coming. But we'll also see some excellent plays from both the players. Kicking this off right here. This is going to be from the first round. Look at that check on the spin knuckle. Immediately ready for the matchup with the fireball fake outs. And cheeky little shimmy. But a drop right there,
yeah,
right?
But
you
look
want
at
to stand
this.
light.
Yeah, man. Like these drops you pointed out, that could have been like not maybe round closers, but dang near closest in Mono.
Yep.
Just taking advantage of these burnout situations, as especially the one that you pointed out, we're probably going to see a little bit later on. But look at this, big drops from the side of Mono too, but not as many though. You know, Kudo. Taylor Tape says, bro, you got to have them on deck. You got them convert some combos.
Yeah. The problem is if you drop the combos Kami, you're minus 50, you get killed. If you drop the combos DJ, you get a mix-up. So that's the difference between these two characters, man. Easy bait on that DP, very smart stuff. Again, Kami's DP is a really juicy option because you get that side swap out of that corner if it lands. But you know, equally. Kudo had the same sort of DP baits, and I think again if we didn't see him make too many of those combo drops, he would have had a really good shot in this matchup for sure.
Yeah, I think so too. I think if that would have happened, I mean, this was sick. Like, yo, Kudo, that was highlight worthy, bro. But you gotta be able to get the victory if you want to use that in your reel. I do like the impacts too as well. Maybe that should have came through a little bit more. We didn't see that many impacts right back as a continuous option. And again, I want to point out the fact that, you know, you saw him have that fireball trap in that burnout situation. We saw that happen, and Mono, you've seen him also have some great burnout sequences in the corner. And, you know, very adept at catching people when they mess up in the burnout. Like, this was great. We saw him get that one-to-one, just that corner pressure with the corner continuously. Mono taking those throws if need be. I think another point is that at Kami, he doesn't really dump out damage, so you really have to be picture perfect with your combos. You really have to be on point with your conversions and your combos. Because if you're dropping things, you ain't going to be able to get the max amount of damage that you just don't have compared to like DJ. Look at how much damage he did with that OD jackknife. There's that slide. See, like that fireball trap? That's so nasty.
Yeah, it was clean. And I think another thing we see from Kudo is just sort of we see a lot of Cammy starting to abuse Hooligan even. Kudo kind of sent one out. It looked like almost by accident though. And yeah, I think it's one of the things that Cammy wants to be able to use. But as you can see, one shimmy, man. Look how much health you lose just from this. And this was, if DJ was in CA range right here, which he was extremely close to, this would have been so much more damage as well. So that's a quick 60%. And then the last throw, double throw, of course. I mean, it's tough, right? You don't want to tech there, get shimmied or something like that, right? It is a tough situation. But there we go. Mono taking that game over Kudo.
I gotta mention that he fights like the lights, like Gamma and other, Cammy players. Prepare for that matchup. I like Kudo's, like his pressure. I like his confidence in his play. Just needs to clean up those combos. And I want to actually look at the group standings real quick. It looks like Mena, he's got a point on the board. Phenom's got a point on the board too as well. Otani has lost and Latif has lost. And, because chat would never lie, Punk has lost to Zen 0-2.
Really? Wow.
It's looking like that may be the case. If, of course,
DJ,
chat
right?
would never lie to me. Zen's playing what? DJ and JP, I believe.
Right?
Or mostly JP these days, I think. I think he also has a DJ because he did talk about that with the interview with Rob TV. He actually may have went from JP to DJ. So, because we did see him play JP at Rebel Kumite and of course on ranked sessions too as well. Because I remember the birds were like, well, why is he playing JP right now when we say he's switching to DJ? So he's probably playing both characters.
I think it's probably smart. I think JP is a pretty good character to get invested in, but also is a character that I think you could have as a counter pick as well, right? Could definitely bully out a lot of the characters in this game pretty heavily, and for those kind of matchups especially. But speaking of matchups, man, we're just moving on right to the money match, right? The Phenom versus MenaRD. If you wanted your $1 million Street Fighter 6 match, it's going to be this one. Unfortunately, still only that first to two right here, as we are still in the group stages. But this could decide who comes out in that top seed in the group.
I'm going to go with the Luke, too, as well, instead of going for the Blanka. Drive reverse to keep him in the corner. I don't mind that option at all. Offensive drive reverse, definitely a very common strategy in this game. People caught up in the corner as much as possible. Drive rush light punch, taking a page out of the book of the birds.
Wow, and honestly, that was just clean from MenaRD. Just standing outside of the the crouch jab range of Ken is actually really short. Makes it very difficult. And oh my god, the perfect parry from MenaRD again was getting absolutely cooked up by Big Bird's drive rush down jab, and this time gonna get the perfect parry, and now punishing with that neutral jump, the lazy shimmy, safe jump setup as well. And it's just looking all at MenaRD with this offense in the corner here, but finally buzzing out Phenom.
I get some distance here. I had to do it. My man's holding too much pressure up in that corner. I had to do something. But it's lacking in a lot of health. However, corner carry is in play today. Enhanced Tatsu. Oh, he tried to get the shimmy with the crouch fierce. We'll get this one applied at least. Genrai kick. Did not get that second hit. That's unfortunate. Drops.
Wow, the meaty fierce, but MenaRD knowing the plus on block. Gonna go for that perfect parry, and yeah, even with perfect parry scaling, level 3s will always do that, guaranteed 50% damage. And wow, being able to close it out off of a really clutch perfect parry when it was looking pretty bad.
Dang, the Admiral of the Street Fighter series right here. MenaRD already off to a fantastic start. Look at these perfect knuckle combos. Look at the damage in the corner carry. You spent dang near no drive gauge to do that, whereas other characters would have to. That's what makes Luke so good. Well, one of the reasons that makes Luke so good.
One of the many reasons. He's got some excellent conversions. Wow, the actual jab counter hitting the forward heavy punch TC. Now fighting back in that corner, trying to go in that fireball game. I like that stand short to check. MenaRD trying to steal too many frames, but the backdash from MenaRD, he's done that twice, didn't get punished the first time, so he's like, you know what, I'll do it again. The empty jump, gonna beat out that light DP, and now MenaRD looking for a clean sweep against Phenom.
What is going on? Round start, drive rush, light punch. Even more so than what I've seen him utilize upward in Evo. But him getting that corner push, drive rush, take throw, in the corner you go. Another throw, this one a punish counter. Mena woke up with something. Might be put back to sleep. No crosscut DP.
Yeah, and you can see even with that meaty fierce that time, as Phenom going to close out this round, going to have to spend a level. Oh no, sure you can, of course. Yeah, in that corner, had that meaty fierce. This time, Phenom was like, I know you're going to want a perfect parry, I'm going to wait. But MenaRD's just like at one step ahead. He's like, no, because I'm just going to jump out.
Yeah.
So good.
I do like Phenom was working around the stand medium punch, but dang, now it's time to go to Memphis. Dental plan is all the fist land, rearranging that face and getting a fantastic lead. Bro, it was so great to hear that at Evo. It was actually wild. The whole crowd saying, to Memphis. What's in Memphis anyway? I don't know. What I do know is Mena is on set point.
All I know is a state, right? Or no, so it's like a somewhere in a state, and it's also in Egypt, I'm pretty sure. So oh,
what a call on the throw
again. Oh,
level
gonna
one.
Get to level 1. Should be enough.
Here's the pickup. Makes him up.
Oh.
One more hit. ODDP, he bet it all, but he's gonna fall. There was nothing he felt like he really do for that desperate ODDP. MenaRD. I feel like when you start off a round so strong with drive rush light punch, it's already difficult. Like as soon as this dude comes at you, just slathered in green, drive rush light punch starter, and puts you to the corner, as we've seen continuously, it's hard to like get your bearings back. We saw Phenom try, was denied continuously. Man, MenaRD is hungry. He said it on Twitter. He's on his revenge arc, bro. He's trying to get that W. Let's take a look at the highlights real quick to see how MenaRD cleanly destroyed Phenom in this game.
Yeah, Phenom just no slouch either, right? Just got blown up by the overwhelming pressure. I mean, he just, as we said, he wants to get in your head, and it's what we saw over and over again. Defensively, offensively, just had a huge read on whatever Phenom wanted to try and do here. I mean, right there, back text, trying to walk away, that low forward still in range, and again, the lazy shimmy, the neutral jump, and you don't want to give up too many of those for sure.
Nah,
but
definitely not want to. Look at this corner. I mean, that's the thing that you want to do with this character. And you point out that backdash, right? That backdash happened continuously. I wish Phenom would have caught on to that, but with the aggression and the amount of momentum that Mena had, it probably was just like so hard to even think about the fact that my man backdashed multiple times. Didn't call that defensive option.
The problem with MenaRD is like if you catch on to something that he's doing, that means he's already on the next layer. The next time you look for it, he's already doing the next thing. So rather than thinking like what he did last time, you have to think about what he's going to do this time. Because even though you think it's like, oh, it's a bad habit, no, this is just how MenaRD plays. It's all intentional, man. Like all of this is intentional. Like you said, like I said it on the meaty fierce, perfect parry attempt afterwards. And here's how he finished it off again with that lazy shimmy. The level 1 was not enough, but yeah, of course, you're still in the corner. And again, the forward jumps, man. How many times did that work in that set? Too many.
Too many. Way too many to count, man. That was brutal. I mean, the drive rush light punch, I think, having that extra reach off that light punch was fantastic. But we're actually going to reach over to a break, take a little bit of time, and get these other sets of players ready and steady to fight. Do not go anywhere because we will return more Gamers 8 Street Fighter 6 action coming right to you.